So I realized that for those of you who were not in class and did not have the opportunity to do the activity with spaghetti that the students did in class, that some of the explanation that I might give if I just recorded the class notes would not help you understand it. So I'm doing a separate video for you all who were not in class. Anyway, so I want you to think about kind of the process that we use for most graphing. Think back to your algebra days. And if we're given a graph, to get a general idea of what the graph looks like, we choose some x values, we come up with the corresponding y values, and then we graph those points to get an idea of what the graph looks like. So that's what I'm going to share with you. It is different than what they did in class. Just be aware of that. So y equals sine of x. I've chosen our basic angles, if you notice, 0 pi, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. If we plug those values in, if you think about your unit circle, and you look at the sine values, which means the y values, so the sine value at 0 pi is 0. The y value at x equals pi over 2 is 1. At pi, the sine of pi is 0. The sine of 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. And the sine of 2 pi is 0. So that gives us some points to use as a guide. And those are kind of the main points that we use anyway in terms of being able to draw this graph. So notice you do need to use a consistent spacing. Going across on your x-axis, you need a consistent spacing along your y-axis as well. So to draw the basic sine curve, it means we are starting at 0 pi and it's 0, and at pi over 2, it's 1, at pi it's 0, at 3 pi over 2 it's negative 1, and at 2 pi it's 0. So I want you to think about this, and this is basically what you have to kind of just memorize. And that is that the sine graph starts at 0 and then goes up and then creates this continuous curve. So we are just drawing what's referred to as one period, one whole cycle. This graph technically continues on forever and ever and ever. It's a wave that would continue on forever and ever and ever. But we just choose to draw the one period of it. Okay, so that's the basics. You're just going to have to get memorized that the sine curve starts at 0 and goes up to 1, comes back down to negative 1, and then back to 0. That's considered our midline, basically, our starting position at axis. Okay, so that's our sine graph. For cosine, if we do the similar process here, cosine means if you look at a unit circle and we find the values for the cosine, that's looking at our x's. So at 0 pi, cosine is 1. At pi over 2, cosine is 0. At pi, cosine is negative 1. At 3 pi over 2, cosine is 0 again. And then at 2 pi, we are back to 1. So that graph is a little bit trickier to graph. You do need to be careful. Think about what those points are. So we have a point here at 1, we have a point at 0, at pi we're at negative 1, back to 0, and then 1. Now this is a curve. 1 and negative 1 are our top values, that's our range. You want to think about the fact that the curve basically bounces at that point and returns back down. So for me, when I'm trying to draw this graph so that I get it to be an actual curve, I extend and I start drawing the curve well before that top point up here. And that tends to help get the curve correctly. Because if you're not careful, that does not look much like a curve and it looks just almost like a V. And you don't want to do that. The other option for drawing this is what I suggest to some people is that they if they're going to go from point to point, that I would rather you over exaggerate the points, and if you wanted to over exaggerate the curve and draw from point to point to get an idea of what the graph looks like, that's what I would suggest, is something like that. It takes a little bit of practice, but anyway, so those are our basic sine and cosine curves. So for our basic sine and cosine curve, the range is from -1 to 1, never goes beyond that for our basic curve. The x-axis markers are those typical pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. So you have to keep those in mind. All right, if we are looking at a negative sign, we're still going to have our y values from -1 to 1. Still going to have our x-axis markers that are exactly the same, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. The difference is that it's still going to start at that midline. It's going to start at 0, but instead of going up to +1, it's going to go down to -1, and then back to 0, and then to 1, and then to 0. So that's your negative sine graph. And for negative cosine, so I'm sorry, for the sine graph, notice we still started at what's considered the midline, right at the origin, and then we went down and up instead of up and then down. For cosine, if it's negative, we're not going to start at +1, we're going to start low at -1, and then go to 0 at pi over 2. At pi, we'll be at +1, at 3 pi over 2, we'll be at 0, at 2 pi, we'll be at -1. And so there's our negative cosine curve. Okay, all right. So those are kind of the basics. We're going to talk about amplitude changes on this next page. I'm probably not going to do all of these, but I'll do probably 3 of them for you. So the difference here now, if you notice, for this amplitude change, and I have a typo there, I just noticed that, amplitude change, we have a number out in front of the sine or in front of the cosine. And what that does is it changes how high and how low the graph goes. So we're still going to have our same x-axis markers, so we'll still be at, nothing has changed that yet, so we're still at pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. We are still, in this case, instead of going from 0 up to 1 for sine, we're going to start at 0. At pi over 2, instead of going to 1, we multiply that by 5, we're going up to +5. And then at pi, we're at 0. And then at 3 pi over 2, we're down to -5. And then at 2 pi, we're at 0. So it basically makes our curve, it gives us higher peaks and lower valleys. Okay, we go higher and lower. Okay, that's if our amplitude is greater than 1. So that's a 5 sine x. I think I want to do these 2 fraction ones. So we're going to do this -3/2 sine x. If you notice, in terms of how I'm showing my y-axis, I'm doing a half and then 1 and then 1.5, 2. If you're given a fraction, I am going to want to see the 2 integer values that the fraction is between. So that's why I'm showing that you don't want to just go up and say, oh, I'm going a distance of 3/2 and -3/2. You need to show me that you know what that distance is and where that is in relation to other values. So I'm going to want to see that 3/2 is the same thing as 1.5, that it is between 1 and 2. So for graphing this graph, it's a -3/2 sine x. So that means it's a sine, so we're starting midline, we're starting at the origin. It means at pi over 2, we're going to go down to -3/2. At pi, we're at 0. I'm sorry, I said -3/2. At 3 pi over 2, we're up to +3/2. And then at 2 pi, we're at 0 again, back to the midline. So there's a -3/2 sine x. And if we have a fraction that's between 0 and 1, then that graph is going to be a lot less hilly and less valley. So if you notice, I have marked here a fourth, a half, 3/4, 1, and then same for the negative direction. So x-axis markers are still the same, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. To draw the 1/4 cosine x, that means we are going to start, cosine starts off the axis. So we're starting at 1/4, which is here. At pi over 2, we are at 0. At pi, we're at negative 1/4, and then 0, and then positive 1/4 again. So I kind of was joking with my classes that the way I like to think about this is that our basic graphs, the basic sine and cosine curve, are kind of like the rolling hills that you see like in North Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee area. When you see an amplitude change that is much bigger, then you're thinking more mountainous, so you're thinking more like the Rocky Mountains or up in Colorado or in North Carolina where you've got the Smoky Mountains. And then something like this would be Florida and what we think of as our hills, because we don't have any hills here. Maybe a little bit in Mount Dora or out in Claremont, but that's about it. So if you hear me refer to Claremont or Colorado, you'll have some idea of what I'm referring to when I talk about the amplitude changes. Hope this helps. Bye.